So welcome to Real Life and Real Estate. I'm Nikki Robbs, and today on our podcast is Katie Arnold with Evergreen Home Loans. Katie and I have worked together on one official client, but we've also taught several classes together. And if you ever take our first-time home buyer class, you are going to have so much fun. Partly because we weave in a lot of personal stories from our own lives or just hiccups that we've encountered. And so you not only get the class, which really prepares you for being a home buyer, but you also get all of our experience and our nuggets of wisdom, and and you get to avoid a lot of the hurdles that we've already encountered. And so, welcome, Katie.
Thank you. And I love those classes because really it's just like this. It's a conversation that we have with our attendees. It's kind of open dialogue. The whole thing. You're not talked at. And I like that.
Yeah, we don't do lecture style. We do a lot of back and forth, and we want your involvement.
That's exactly it.
Classroom roundtable stuff.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good thing.
So, Katie, tell us about you at Evergreen Home Loans.
Yes.
And what is your niche market? Who you like to serve?
So I like to introduce myself by saying I am from a town called Hell, Michigan. It's like right outside Detroit here, right? So I am your loan officer from hell. That's what I do. So the loans aren't from hell, but what I really say is that I'll go through the fire and flames for you.
There you go.
That's what's important. Mm-hmm. And then what I do at Evergreen Home Loans is just help educate people. There's a lot of terminology. There's a lot of process that we eat and breathe and sleep and dream. So we want to make sure that you as our client have a clear understanding of expectations and what you need, a handhold. So where I tell people I'm the expert at is answering questions, providing guidance. Sometimes that's, hey, come to our class, let's talk to you about the process, let's get you set up for the things you need to know, what you need to be prepared about. That can be documentation, just the timeline of things. But sometimes it's things like, hey, my credit's not up to snuff. Hey, I owe a little bit more than I want. And working with a client to develop a plan, right? I think it's very important. Everyone has their own goal. So, you got the person who wants the yard for their dog who's got 2 kids. But then you have someone else who goes, hey, I like trees, I like the city. So it's always finding for the right person and feeling out what's important to you, what do you want at the end of the day? And then building a plan to get there, whether that is through a particular product or through steps to get people comfortable.
And when you say product, you mean a loan, a
typical
specific
loans,
type of loan, whether that means, okay, we're going to pay down credit, we're going to pay off debt, we're going to wait on that HELOC until something else.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean by product?
Well, what I mean by product is when someone says, hey, I want to buy a house, you start with understanding what do you want? What is it that you want? And then by looking at the application, by pulling your credit, that's when I can actually say, hey, this is the correct loan for you. Because you never start with the loan first, right?
Okay.
This is goal-based, right? And the steps to get there and get you where you want to be.
Okay, so thank you. Because sometimes I've heard loan officers say, I need to put you in the right product. I'm like, is that like a hamburger?
Yeah.
Are you choosing a meal for me?
and that's what I always emphasize to clients. Like, it's not the number 7 on the value menu, right? You can't just say, hey, what can I get? Like no, it's a conversation.
Okay.
It's not transaction, it's relationship. It's getting to know you as a person, what's important to you. And being able to help with some guidance, and offer questions. And, even if someone has bought a house, things change so quickly, right? Like if you look at any of the values or the rates this year, things have just adjusted. And, it's actually how it is. It changes.
Do you love how much your job changes from week to week?
Yeah, I do like that. It gives, every day's different, right? Someday you're doing this, someday you're doing that. So I do like that, and every client's different. Right? I was just working with some folks were telling me, they have 3 children under 4, which I thought, oh my gosh. And I said, once you get your house, I said to myself, okay, I need to get some bubbles and some sidewalks.
Right.
Something fun. Or something.
I love that part of meeting clients and beginning to see what they're about. And start thinking about their closing gift.
Because it's fun. I think one of the biggest joys in our job is seeing people with keys. Having their keys in hand. I always tell people, go make carpet angels on your floor.
I love that part. I love that part. Yeah.
And I just get to enjoy that space as your own for the first time walking in the door.
And you don't get to come to closings very often, do you?
It depends.
Okay.
If a client really likes that, I like to offer, especially if someone says, "Hey, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I've never done this before." Of course.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I just want to give people confidence.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine how cool that would be to drive up to your new house. You've signed all the papers, and today's the day you get your keys, and your whole team is there to welcome you.
Yes. Yeah.
I've never had that happen. I've never seen that happen, but I can imagine, wow, if you had your lender, your real estate agent, and a couple other people, like maybe the inspector also got to hang out on closing day, on key day.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's what's really fun, right? Like being able to meet with your client anywhere. And that's something I take pride in. Do you want to meet on the phone? Do you want to meet in person? Do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want me there? No. If someone's buying, I suppose, in other side of Washington, I'm not going to be there.
Maybe not.
Maybe not, but anywhere in the Puget Sound area.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Okay, what is a loan you haven't gotten to do, but you really want to sink your teeth into?
So my husband's family is tribal, and there is a product called a HUD 184. This particular product is geared towards Native American, Alaskan Native American, and offers a wonderful program, for folks, and it does not have to be on tribal lands. So
it's
really
for people with tribal heritage, like
yes.
current tribal members?
Yes, they'd have to be current tribal members.
All right, so someone like me who's 3 or 4 generations past, not going to happen.
Yeah, if you're not part of the tribe. But if you are a tribal member, current tribal member, yes. And it actually allows 0% down in some cases.
What?
Yes, so it's an incredible program. Specifically, it allows for a little bit of shall we say, credit flexibility, where they allow for non-traditional credit, different income qualifications. So it's a really powerful program for tribal folks.
And you don't have to buy on tribal land.
You don't have to buy on tribal lands.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yes. I just haven't had a chance to do that one.
All right.
But
so you heard it here.
Yes. If tribal, come see me. I want to help you. My husband's part of the Chickasaw of Oklahoma. So are my children. So it's very important to me that, tribal members who historically have had such a struggle that they're able to achieve home ownership.
Let's start making it right.
Yes, let's start.
That's awesome.
Right. That's really
awesome. What is one of your favorite stories? A client you've served and it just really sticks in there, like, oh, that was such a great day. I love that procedure. I love I love the end result.
Yes. My most recent client, we met at one of the home buying classes I teach, and we had keys in his hand within 30 days. And
you've done that a few times.
Yes, I've done it twice. Yeah. Twice. My record is 30 days. And, the challenge is, can we do it faster? But it was really nice. It was a gentleman who was telling me his teenage daughter lives in Mexico with mom, and he'd been trying to bring her up, and he had taken some time off of his work on a boat to get a house, and we managed to get it. And he said, I didn't think this would happen, but he was real happy. And I chatted with him through text, and he said, yeah, my daughter's up here. She's picking paint for her bedroom, her first bedroom by herself. So he was just so excited to have a plot of land. We're looking at the garden. And, that was a situation where I got to go out. We had a beer together and celebrated his house. And that's why I like the relationship, right? And I said, hey, next year, we're going to give you a call early December. We'll talk about just doing a mortgage review, make sure your equity's where you want it to be, let you kind of know where the industry is right now, where you are with your house.
So that's something unique that you do, is you check in on people a year later.
Yes.
And why?
It is very important when you buy your house. When you're buying a house, right, you're thinking about rate and you're thinking about your payment, right? I think those are the two most important things in my world. But equity is important, and equity is that value that builds up, and it takes time. Think of it as, for savings, like a 401k. You're saving in the future of your home. And honestly, some of the statistics are at retirement, 83% of the funds you have can come from your home equity versus a 401k or a retirement account. Now, all cases are different, but that's the power of home ownership. One of my other clients, I did an equity review for him, and he was telling me his goal is just to sell his home and his property when he and his wife need to go into a retirement home in probably 30 years.
Okay.
So we had this conversation about his current rate and letting him know what his options are, letting him know, hey, if you pay an extra $50 a month, what does that do? And does that save you anything in interest? So That's a really good conversation to have, just eye-opening. But yeah, just letting people know where they are and being able to answer questions, because just because you buy the house and you have it, that you're not done with the loan, right?
Yeah.
You're either paying it,
yeah,
or you've got something you want to do down the line. So again, it's all about goals, right? Some people buy a house and they go, I'm going to live here 10 years, but a lot of people also buy their first home as a stepping stone, and they buy assuming, hey, I'm going to sell in 5 years. So it's important to let people know where the industry is from a professional standpoint, right?
And not just that automated email you get from Redfin that says, hey, your neighbor's house sold, and so we're guessing that maybe your value is like this, but Redfin doesn't know that you replaced the flooring or that you repaired the fence or the roof.
And it allows for a conversation because... And I've had clients say, hey, I've got a great rate from before and I have equity. How do I tap into that without losing the interest rate? And
that's a good one.
There's a lot of ways to do that. But again, it depends on what are you looking to achieve. If someone's looking to do their kitchen, it's one thing.
Yeah.
If they're looking to buy a second property because they want to put that one on market as a rental property, it all just depends. That's why it's important to understand what people want to achieve before you take any action.
So we should also come to you and ask those same kind of questions if we're looking at putting an ADU in the backyard.
Absolutely.
And saying, oh, I think my mother or father-in-law needs to be near us but still have independence. I need to put something in the backyard for them.
Yes.
And then you can help look at, oh, we have all this equity in the house and here's your loan,
what can we do?
Blah, 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 and here's numbers.
Exactly. That's exactly. And it's real data. Being able to work with real numbers. Again, Redfin's not going to give you information that's tailored to you and sit down with your questions. So I always tell people, hey, anytime, happy to look at it. And even when people say, well, I'm going to pay off my mortgage, great. Let's see maybe if speeding up a little bit extra cash on there, some other things. So it's all about solutions, right? When we talk product, I prefer solutions to product, right? Because it's not one size fits all.
You're not selling me a burger.
Exactly. So that's one of the specialties I do definitely is making sure it's relationship, letting people know where they are with their property and their goals with a conversation with a professional right there and then, And I always tell people call or text me anytime. But the other thing I really specialize with the classes that Nikki and I have taught together is the Washington Home Financial Commission offers down payment assistance. Yeah. I took advantage of this 11 years ago. It's a program that allows you to take advantage of 3, 4, or 5% of the purchase amount to go towards down payment and closing costs, which is amazing. We had a client in our last class that sat down and they weren't sure, and we were able to help them out and get them from being a renter into a home for very, very little out of pocket. Yeah, really. Very little. Like inspection and appraisal.
That's pretty much it. There were no repairs needed, and so it was just paying for inspection and then closing costs. That was it.
Yeah. And I tell people now that I'm in my 40s, don't slip a disc moving yourself. Don't pay your friends in pizza.
Hire people.
It's not worth, hire people, neighbor kids, something like that.
Yep. Hire as many things as you can. Yeah.
But that's what's very exciting is those rates are set by the commission. So it takes the worry about of rate shopping. But the point is giving you that cash on hand. So you don't have to use your retirement account out of that. You don't have to use all of your savings. It is an ability. And they have a couple of different programs, but those are the big ones that are just wonderful. It feels so great. And it's like limbo, right? How low can we go? What is the lowest we can get you into a house in terms of cash out of pocket? So a lot of enjoyment.
Do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy. What are some questions that you think people should ask when they're shopping for a lender? So because there is Evergreen Home Loans, and then there's your local credit union, and then there's the apps on your phone.
Yes.
And they're hard to interview, but
it's hard to interview.
When we call you, we get to interview you and say, are you going to be a good fit for me? So how do we know?
No, I think you want to ask your lender, how are you going to communicate? Do you want someone that hey, if you're working during the week and weekends is where you're going to be shopping. It's so important, especially as the rates, we're hoping rates have kind of dipped. But if we start to pick up in traffic this spring, it's going to be so important if on a Saturday or a Sunday you found the house you want. Yeah. You want to put in an offer and you need that pre-approval letter right then and there. You want to know what the communication process looks like. Not to disparage other firms at all, but some of them, like their employees just are not available on weekends. Yeah. I have the flexibility where text me at 2 a.m, I'll get back to you as soon as I see it, kind of thing.
When you're awake.
I'm awake, yeah. So I think communication is very important, especially if you're, say, if I have a client working nights, we just set that stage of like, hey, I'm not going to call you at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Can I give you a text? Okay, you call me, kind of thing. And being flexible to meet people.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure how are you going to communicate with me, and how are you going to answer my questions, and let timeline know. I think it's also good, just have a chat about yourself. Are they asking open-ended questions about you? Are they trying to get to know you? Are they asking you about your goal and what you want out of your house?
Yeah.
Or are they simply saying, hey, we've got this great rate and a discount? That's very transactional, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that it feels like a good fit. You feel listened to. You feel valued. Those I think are the most important things.
I think that's huge, is knowing that they heard me.
Yeah.
And so that when I come back and say, why do I have to bring all these documents again?
Right.
We're in underwriting, that they will explain in plain English about why we have to do this again.
Right. And the simple of just like, okay, well, that's because post 2008, we need everything on paper.
Yeah.
So even though it's been 3 weeks, we need your new statement to show that nothing
again.
has changed, right? But that's to protect you as the consumer, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, things were different. You could just go on, I don't know, just
really
a title.
almost any
right.
Yeah.
But now it's just, okay, we need to verify that to protect you, to make sure you're not put in a product or a solution that does not fit your needs. It does not fit your budget, right? So it's also important, I think, like I said, there's the interest rate, there's the price of the home, but just as important is your monthly payment. That can make a big difference.
What's a question no one ever asks you, but you think they should?
That's a great question.
Oh, we'll have to think about it. Okay, so while we're thinking about that, what's the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification?
I'm so glad you asked. So think about, you get things in the mail, right? Oh, credit card, pre-qualification, right? And all of pre-qualifications is saying, hey, we think you might be a good candidate for something.
Okay.
But again, there's none of the nuance.
Okay.
It's just kind of a blanket thing based on different parameters, right?
So this is like when they send my 18-year-old credit card options, and I'm like, I don't think you should open that.
Exactly. Because they're just looking to entice you with something. Hey, this might apply to you. Whereas a pre-approval is something where, Nikki's representing me, say Jack's our client. And I say, Jack, great, wonderful to meet you. Now that we've talked about your goals and you've kind of given me an understanding of what's important to you, now I'm going to send you a list of documentation. And the reason for that is, before I give someone a pre-approval, right, a lot of folks say, I work full-time, but sometimes you're working 72 hours a week. It is full-time. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
But we have something called income, right? The income you and I make, we take home, we pay our bills for, but we also have what's called qualifying income. And depending on how you're paid, depending on the industry you're in, there's different parameters. Here's an example. If you're union, you might work 30 hours one week on a project and 120 another. So we're trying to find kind of an average. Right?
Okay.
An average.
So if you have a lot of overtime one year, and we can't guarantee that you're going to have a lot of overtime next year,
we look at
that's
an
the
average.
messiness that you have to work out.
And I have a team that does that to help our clients.
Yeah.
I never want to see someone in a situation where I've told them, oh, great, you can buy at a $500,000 price range. Nikki takes them out, they fall in love, but guess what? It's only $470.
Oh gosh,
that would be terrible, right? So I think it's very important, both for my peace of mind for my clients, and for someone to shop with confidence, that you have your lender go through your documentation and ask for supporting documentation. Now, and again, it depends. If someone, hey, I'm salary, it's $70,000 a year, very simple, right?
Yeah.
But every situation is different. I've worked with travel nurses. I worked with a gentleman who was a diver, professional diver around boats. And every industry is a little different, right? So it's making sure that we can do that. So we go through your income, we make sure we have everything kind of queued up. And then that means that with confidence, you and I have gotten to talk about your credit report, your credit score, the little nuances on payment, and say, hey, this is where you are approved up to. Yeah. And then another question people often ask, hey, I'm approved for $700,000. Do I have to buy? Of course not. Of course not.
You never have to.
Because I really want to just make sure clients know where their flexibility is.
Yeah.
And Nikki can speak to this, there's so much nuance to the negotiations, making sure we're getting the best deal for you. Yeah. And that I really like clients to know, hey, this is where you're up to.
Yeah.
And then if someone says, I found the perfect house, 600,000, wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing with pre-approval. It just gives you the confidence. It gives the seller the confidence to know what to look for without any worries. Another thing Evergreen uniquely does is we do the pre-approval, but we even can go a step higher. So what I can do is build the loan package all together without the home address. And we can actually have your file looked at by an underwriter, which is a little unique. The reason for that just means that I get to call the listing agent of the home you're looking for, call them up and say, hey, I want you to know this loan has been reviewed by an underwriter and approved.
Oh my gosh, that helps so much.
And all that does is knock off about 10 days of the process.
All right. So when we want to close quickly,
yes,
when we are in maybe a time crunch of we had 60 days to find a house,
yes,
and now we're down to 30 or less,
yes,
knowing that they are not only pre-approved, but pre-underwritten,
yes,
means we can close faster.
We can close
and
faster.
Then it comes down to, let's get that inspection and let's go, go, go.
Yes.
Also, you guys should know that Katie is very go, go, go.
Yes, very much.
That's why you had everything on the ball for the client that we got keys in 28 days.
Yes.
You moved so fast. I didn't even think we were ready for the next steps. And you're like, hey, it's already done. Oh, it's already done.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Okay. And that's something I'd say. If you're really seriously thinking about a home, it is important to think about what document should I have? Should I know how to find your pay stub?
Yeah.
So that when your lender says, hey, can I get X and Y?
Yeah. Last year's taxes.
Exactly. You know where to get them. And it helps us close a loan faster when a client is communicative. Mm-hmm. It returns the documents on top of it.
Yep. So super fast.
So with the pre-underwritten loans that we're able to do, I always tell clients it takes about a week, but that's a week that you're dealing with now
on the front side
beforehand. Another unique feature with that is when I call that selling agent, I can tell them, hey, if your funding falls through, we will guarantee the seller $5,000. Mm-hmm. It's a unique feature that we've been offering for about 25 years, I think.
Yeah. And
not everyone does that. But that just means that when you are ready to buy, you have such a good offer.
Yeah, that really strong offer. Mm-hmm. And it's good to get prepared now because we don't know what the spring and summer market is going to look like. It could be crazy busy. It could be really balanced.
We're not sure.
But it's better to do our homework
yes.
now in the winter and then be prepared for our spring and summer where it could go fast. It could be competitive. It maybe not be. Maybe there's only 2 offers that we're competing against, or maybe 1, yes. And that's okay if we have done our homework, right?
Right. And a common question I get from clients is, how long is my pre-approval good for? 6 months.
Good point. Yeah.
And that just means even if you're thinking about looking in the summer, it's not a bad time to talk to a lender soon, just to kind of see where you're at, just to make sure your credit's where you need to be, just to make sure there's nothing on there.
What if we could tweak a few things that would make things better by April?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Or, boost your credit 12 points to save $1,000. I've done that for clients before.
Yes.
So I think it's very important. Be prepared. Think about what you want to do and talk to someone.
Yep. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for hanging out today. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is just talking with a lender. And if you know a lender, you should definitely interview lenders you already know in your world. Yes. But if you don't know very many lenders, then I suggest you talk to Katie. I will put her contact information in the show notes or in our social media posts.
Thanks, Nikki.
And then, find the lender that's right for you, right? And let them find the loan that's right for you, because just because someone else has this loan doesn't mean it's right for you in your situation with your house, your credit, all the things.
And if you're interested in joining us in one of our home buying education classes, we do have one coming up. We'd love to see you there.
Yep, we would love to see you. We're really fun, if you can't tell. We're really fun. And then imagine us with 4 or 5 other couples in the room and being able to, so then we've got 10 people and stuff is bouncing off the wall and we're just having a great time. And we do it all in one day. And then your qualification from the Washington State Housing Financial Commission.
It's a tongue twister, isn't it?
You're qualified for down payment assistance for 2 years after you take our class. So it's 1 day, 2 years of being eligible for down payment assistance. You might as well do it when you have time. And I think you have time. So come and see us.
And it's great to meet with that group because other people have questions you may have or you may not have thought of.
Yep.
I like it when we're teaching the class in the middle of it. I go, oh, that's a new one. Let me write that down. I'll get back to you.
We've taught it this many times, and then a new question comes up.
So thank you. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for being here.